Welcome back to part 8 of Final Fantasy XII, where today, after speaking with Balthier and Fran, we'll be spending most of the rest of the part wrapping up the last of the side content you can do in Robinaste, or that you can do now before leaving. But that being said, if the game kind of leaves it to your own discretion to try and work out where Balthier and Fran might have gone, but I'd like to think it's pretty obvious. The hint is, where would a sky pirate want to go to relax? It's gonna be a bar.
A lot of kids lost their parents in the war. Mine had already died before that. The plague took them both.
I'm sorry. I didn't know.
It's okay. It's been 5 years now. After that, I lived with my friend Penello and her family. Then the war came.
I am sorry.
You don't have to keep apologizing. Really, it's all right. I know it wasn't your fault. I see that now. You didn't kill my brother. It was the Empire. My brother trusted you. And he was right.
And that completely ends the discussion of Vaan and how he feels towards Basch. From this point onwards, they act like best buddies. I'm not even kidding. Like, Basch has always been very kind to Vaan right from the start, but now Vaan will actually start paying it back as well. But all you need to do is enter the Sand Sea and go upstairs.
As I said, a misunderstanding.
Misunderstanding? What I am understanding is it took Penello because of you.
What? What about Penello?
Oh, Vaan, they've taken Penello. And there was a note for this Balthier. Come to the Muserba Mines, it said.
It's Begamnon. He was in Albina.
If anything were to happen to that sweet child while I've her parents' memory to consider, you're going to go to her aid, and that's that. That's what you sky pirates do, isn't it?
I don't respond well to orders. You do know that the Imperial fleet is massing at Bujerba?
Fine, then I'll go. You at least have an airship, don't you? Just get me there and I'll find Penello myself.
I'll join you.
Huh?
I have some business there as well.
An audience with the Marquis, by chance?
Balthier, just take us, and this is yours.
The guards are toying with us.
Make yourselves ready. We leave soon.
Right.
From this point onwards, I highly recommend wrapping up whatever it is you want to do around Robinaste, because this will be a fairly long stretch before you get to return to Robinaste for another time. Because when we go to the aerodrome, we'll be able to speak to Balthier, the aerodrome being on the west side of the map, over by the west gate over there. And when you head over to Bujerba, you will not be returning for a hell of a long time. You won't actually be returning until after the end of the prologue. Because, yeah, we are still technically in the prologue. We've yet to get our full cast together, and so until then, we've yet to actually have our final objective. Everyone's just got their own little thing they want to do, or don't do. Balthier and Fran want nothing to do with this, but they're just kind of tailing along now because they know they don't really have much of a choice in the matter. Basch wants to speak to the Marquise over there, and Vaan obviously wants to try and save Penello. So, all in all, we are going to have to head over there like together, but there isn't like a unified objective to start pushing through throughout this game. Everyone's just got their own little thing, and so until then this is still the prologue, which makes it a pretty chunky prologue. Like, Square, like, around this time had something for really long prologues. Even when Kingdom Hearts 2 came out this year as well, and that prologue's close to 3 hours long if you don't skip any of the cutscenes. If you do, you can get Kingdom Hearts 2's like opening done pretty quickly. But essentially, for the rest of this part, well, I say for the next 20 minutes, and then the last 10 minutes is us actually going to the aerodrome, I'm going to be wrapping up the last few things I want to do in Robinaste, because there's a few more hunts we can do, and by the time we've done them, 2 of the elite hunts will be available to us. And although I don't win any of the elite hunts in this part, I do want to show off the more advanced circumstances to get them. So firstly, we need to wrap up a hunt that I left before. You know what I'm on about. The one we had to run away from. The cactuar who... Not the cactuar, the cactrice that ran away from us. The flower cactrice. The thing with the flower cactrice hunt is that once its HP is halfway down, it will fucking book it. And it will travel pretty far, but it does have a point where it'll eventually stop. Oh, the flowering cactoid. And when you get it, you'll get a flower as signal, or as a symbol of your victory. If you take it back to the person who gave you the quest per se in the outpost just to the south of us, you will get your reward and finish the bounty. But beyond that, there's another one beyond this as well that we'll be doing, and I said there's the first elite hunt that we'll be tackling. But if you decide to head to the northeast, you'll find this bizarre little outpost that going any further from it is currently blocked off. This is actually a functioning town. It's nowhere near the size of Rabinashte, but it is a town. It is a town on the outskirts of this desert. And you'll even get an introductory cutscene when you enter it, which doesn't have any voice acting, so I will be talking over it, but it is here. Because it's entirely imperially run, this city. And it's kind of like a workers' city, like it's very much a labouring town. I mean, it looks nice, but you can kind of see how it's all walled in. So welcome to Nalbina Fortress. Even though it's a fortress, there is a neighbouring town with it, so this is kind of the base of residence in Dalmasca for the Empire before they kind of settled in more comfortably to Rabinashte. When you consider that it's been 2 years since Dalmasca gave their unconditional surrender, I guess it makes sense that a fortress resembling the Empire would have been built by now, this being it. It's a nice location, but the people here are working like slaves. They're just helping building this goddamn place, and it's a nice looking place, but at what cost? But unfortunately, you won't be going anywhere near the fortress yet. You can only go through the market street of this area. Here's the market street. There's a lot of shops here, but they don't sell anything that you're unlikely to already have. They sell better things than at Rabinashte, but if you've been going through the plot like I have before you ventured out here, you've already been given access to shops better than it. Like when we was going through the... after we recruited Barsh and we was going through those mines, the shop outside there, or on the starter there, sold better stuff than sort of stuff you're going to find here. The only real places of interest would be the sword and shields. No, the sword shop and the shield shop. Because they might have things that you've yet to get because they're better off than Rabinashte. And you just might not have been in a position to buy anything from Rabinashte when you first got there. And I do eventually do a bit of shopping, but I kind of hold off a little bit, just because I know in not too distant a future there's going to be yet another series of shops that's going to have another step up in equipment and stuff to buy sort of thing. So I wanted to hold off till then. But whilst we're on our way back, there is one more magic type that I've yet to read and really bring up in any form of capacity. I've brought up black magic, where it's aggressive direct attacks with magic, whether it be fire, ice and thunder. I brought up arcane, where it's more situational and more specific dark magic like break and kill and death, things like that. Stuff that could, it's just might work, might not. It's more situational, it's more gimmicky, it's not quite the same. I've already mentioned white magic, where it's more defensive and evasive spells, more focused on keeping your team as strong as they can be at full health and better their defenses. I've talked about time magic, where you can speed up your opponents or slow them down. You can break them, you can affect the party in various ways for more elaborate and more complicated strategies to better your chances in the field. But I'm missing one. Green magic is a thing in this game, and it's not quite the same as you might think. In earlier entries there is a thing called blue magic, and blue magic is magic you steal from your opponents. Green magic are spells based off of those blue magic spells, but instead of learning them from enemies, you do have to just learn them the old-fashioned way of buying them or getting them. And so I guess for that reason they changed their name and made them more of a unified spell. Like for instance, one of the green magic spells is oil. which will cover your opponent in oil, so they will take more damage from fire-based attacks. That's kind of what I mean. Like, the green magic spells are the ones that you might find yourself using the least, but are the more out there. Like, they're the most out there spells you're going to find in the game. But the biggest criticism you're going to face with them immediately is because they're so bizarre and out there and different, there's always the chance that they just won't help a situation. So they're extremely situational, and I wouldn't recommend dedicating a green mage. And what doesn't help is that there's no easy way to get green magic. There is a shop that I highlighted far earlier that I said was directly tied to the guild. When you build up your rank with the clan primer, aka the more bounties you do, you'll get a better rank as you go. There's a shop to the west, just south of Mont Blanc's Elite Mark shop, that will sell you better stuff the further your rank goes. Also, this is me just completely forgetting, and I forgot, like, when I first set the gambits, and I do realise by the end of this part that first aid only works if your health is critical. I just thought it was a heal. It's not. It only works if your HPs are critical. So you see me try it there, both times it just fail. It's also why my teammates aren't casting first aid, despite having the ability to do so, because it won't work. But back to the topic at hand. If you want to get green magic, you have to go to that clan shop, which means if you want to get more and more green magic, you do absolutely need to dedicate more time to these bounties. Which is fine, because unlike other Final Fantasies, there's no real major side quest, there's no real side activity to occupy. Like, there's no card games or mini games or blitzball or anything like that. Your only real side activity in this game are the bounties, which is why there's so much time devoted to them, and why I've made a habit of making a point of showing them as soon as, and not leaving them to like post game or something. There's going to be a bunch that are going to be left till post game, don't get me wrong, but in terms of the main adventure, I'm going to be trying to show off as many as I can reasonably. I say reasonably because if it's like we get to a new area and it suddenly requires us to backtrack 10 miles to activate a quest just to go back to this area you've just got to, I won't bother, because it's just not worth the hassle. I also decided to rearrange my main party for a while because I know I'm not going to be using Van for the main adventure. I decided to swap him out for Fran, just because Fran's got healing magic and so it can be more helpful. But up ahead is another unique enemy that you need to be wary of as you go to approach. And I mean really wary of as you go to approach. I didn't realise this was this enemy's version of the super tough enemy. So I go to attack it, and well, run away! I retreat all the way home. I'm not kidding. Literally all the way home. There we go. Because what happened is not only did it one-shot Balthier, but it brought Barsh down to like barely any health as well. So I was just like, oh shit, I need to go. And so I just booked it out of town for the rest of it. But transitioning over back to that outpost, I do turn in the Cactus Flower quest now. You'll always know if an enemy is going to be far too tough for you if their name pops up red when you go to target them. But once you've got it in, get your reward, one last hunt will appear in Rabanashte. There's still more hunts you can get for Rabanashte, but this is the last one you can get for the moment. So when you're ready, accept it, and you need to go into Lowtown to do it. There's a lady complaining about a Wraith, and the Wraith, because it's the last one you can access right now, there are a few things you need to be wary of that makes it stand out from the previous ones we've done so far. This one won't attack you physically in any real way, or if it does, not that much. Instead, it will prioritise casting Doom on your party. Doom is a condition we've yet to really experience in this game, but is one that I definitely need to highlight how it works to you. If you've played Kingdom Hearts 3's DLC, or if you've played any of the older Final Fantasies, you will already know what Doom is, but for those unknown, Doom puts a clock above your head, and it will keep on ticking down. If the clock hits 0, you die, no questions asked. In older Final Fantasies, there was no way whatsoever to get rid of Doom. If you was inflicted with Doom, you just had to win the fight before it hit 0. But in 12, because the world continues, they knew that would be brutally unfair if you had to not only get to the other side of Doom, but then also get to a save crystal to reset it in time. So you can remedy it away. However, remedy works different in this game as it doesn't cover everything right from the start. You have to get something for a character called Remedy Law. Remedy Law will expand what it can cover. When you first start the game, Remedy will only cover the basic elements. Like you'll cover poison, you'll cover stun, things like that. It'll wake you up. But it won't do any more advanced ones. It won't do Doom. It won't do... I'm struggling to think of ones, but off the top of my head other than Doom. But the point stands. If you need to get Remedy Law to be able to tackle Doom properly. So don't worry about it too much. But all you're doing is going into the tutorial space that you started the game with on, and it will just be in the middle of it. There's no extra prerequisites, there's no extra thing for it. And you can see right from the get-go it is spamming Doom. And the only reason why it's not working is because it's silenced. But for a split second there, the silence went and it got a Doom on Bash. So Bash is now on a clock. As you can see, it just said 9. That skull next to his health means he's on Doom. Now Varn is on Doom. Bash now just says 8. He'll cast Doom on everyone else and then he'll wait it out, essentially. But because he doesn't do much, you can kind of just batter him until he goes down. And if you do this after you've got Balfir and Bash in your team, or just more people in your team, there's no real reason for you to struggle with this. The only thing worth mentioning is, like I said, because the game just continues as normal, everyone's still got Doom. And you're going to see, like, I'm going to test out to see if I can remedy it away. But no one's... Oh, no, I don't. So I noticed, okay. But there is a point, because I leave into the city, and the city is considered not a combat area. So it disables anything to do with health and conditions. But it doesn't mean they're not there. So what you're going to see happen... Well, I can't remember if it's on the recording. I might have cut away from it. Is that I'm going to... sort out this quest, pick up the elite hunt, go to traverse the elite hunt, enter the Giza Plains, and everyone's got a skull next to their health bar still. I go, oh shit! And then I just panic run to, like, just straight south of us to the save crystal there, just so no one just suddenly dies. But this hunt, the reason why we're doing this hunt in the first place, the conditions of it is that this kid got scared because they noticed there was a ghost down there, so hid up here. So this lady tried to get him to come out, but he wouldn't until the ghost is dealt with, or a wraith. And there's a fun little twist of they try and act like the kid inside is her daughter, her son even, and it's not, it's someone else's son. She's just trying to be a good citizen and help the kid out. But we've got a new accessory as well, the gauntlets. The gauntlets kind of feel like it is a mistranslation in name. You might have just noticed there the skull is still next to her name and I just didn't notice. It's I kind of feel like it's a mistranslation. The gauntlets boost your defense, your physical defense in particular, when your HP is critical. It's kind of like Defender in Kingdom Hearts, where you get a slight boost in your physical defense when you're nearly dead. But it just seems weird. Like, it's always just seemed like weird to me. It's like, why would gauntlets be something that help your defense and critical health? Wouldn't it boost your attack? But oh well. We got a few more license points to clean up on, so I decided to expand on the party a little bit. Because like I said, license points will go to the entire party even if they're not in battle. It's only experience that doesn't. Which is a shame, because that means Varn, Fran and Penelo, to spoil things a little bit, are going to just reach a point where they stop getting experience. Because I'll be using the other 3. And that's pretty much it, so... time to transition to our next elite hunt. Over at Mont Blanc, over in the top left corner, he will give you a bunch of rewards for not only your rank getting to a certain height, because our rank has gone up, but he will also reward you for every mandatory main boss you've taken down. So the rear guard gets something. We defeated the Pack of Flans, which was a mini boss, so he will give us something for it. We defeated the Fire Main, which we did at the end of the waterway, so we will get money for it. And we took down the Mimic Queen. So it's always worth talking to Mont Blanc. On my first playthrough, I had no idea who Mont Blanc was until long after I beat the game, as I've mentioned before. So when I spoke to him, he had me for a while. Just to put it away, he had me for a while. But there's 2 elite hunts that are now available to us. I'm going to show you the first one and show you how it works, to show you why they're a step above normal hunts. It's not just their difficulty, you have to do something to lure them out first. So to actually start it properly, we need to go talk to a lady in the outpost just in the middle of the Giza Plains, which is just straight south, so it's fine. So from there, I open the door and we go through. Over here, over by the farm of other cockatrices, we can talk to Dania, who will tell us about it. Essentially, to the area to the east of us, there is our elite hunt is going to be there, but it is a cowardice enemy. It will not be there whatsoever until every single other enemy in the area is defeated and you leave. Then when you come back, a chick of the cockatrice will be around. The very second you attack it is the very second the hunt starts, because it will bum rush you. The actual main cockatrice will just sprint out of nowhere and bum rush you for attacking the chick. That's how it works. So that save crystal is there for a reason. Use it, because if you're going to tackle it now, you're not going to get far. Head east into what is called the Northern Bank. They say go to the Northern Bank, and you might be mistaken to go into area above. You know, this area is what is called on the map the Northern Bank. And here's this golden cockatrice, because like off screen took down every single enemy, and well, it didn't go well. Essentially, I ran out of potions, but it wasn't worth showing off any further, so I decided to go back towards the west. You can now buy gauntlets because you got far enough, but you can buy oil and decoy. Decoy is fucking brutal, but only if you use it in the right context. But I buy it because I know it can be helpful, but you have to be careful with it. Decoy will make it so one particular party member will take the brunt of everyone else's attack. They will become everyone's target. And so it's good if you have a really, like, a member of your party with a lot of health or a lot of defense. Also off screen, I cleaned up everyone's license board a bit more and got Bush Infuse. We can't use it yet because we haven't got Infuse, but Infuse is great to have because it multiplies his maximum health temporarily, and because I want him to be my defensive tank, Decoy then has a purpose, because I can put Decoy on him if I decide to, make him multiply his health, and then he can take the brunt whilst everyone else does what they need to. But this is the aerodrome. From here you can actually get a ship over to the Nalbina fortress if you so desire, because there is a small aerodrome over there. So you can skip having to run north all the way over there. But on the end is Balthier, who you can talk to if when you're ready to go to Bajurba. Or you can get him to tell you a little about Bajurba. Then go out to Damascus much, do you? Bajurba is a small city-state that thrives on the support of its magic. Ruled by the Marquis Ondor, who is I think by the Empire's good side, will allow us in. I didn't get to read the rest of that. I went too quick for me. But when you go to talk to him, he will alert you that we won't be coming back anytime soon. So we'll be going to the mines of the Bajurba, but we won't be coming back for a while. So please keep that in mind before you decide to accept, because it is going to be a while.
Whoa.
This is the Stroud. Cheap airship enough for you?
The Straw. You really are a sky pirate.
Well, the headhunters seem to think so. What's a good word? Is she ready?
So is she armed? How fast is she? Could she take the Ifrit?
I suppose I could tell you, but... wouldn't you rather see for yourself?
Yeah.
Fran, our course.
The shortest way is over Dorstonis.
How flies Bujeba?
Oh, she's free as can be, for now. The Empire took notice when they announced the princess's unfortunate suicide and your untimely execution.
If it becomes known that I'm alive, the Marquis will lose their favor.
I try to steer clear of such things. Right, it's time to fly. And no wagging tongues or you'll like to bite them off.
I'm coming, Penelope.
You've seen to her feeding, yes?
I have, my brother. She eats well.
See that she does. We need her alive. Balthier's bait must be fresh.
I keep trying to tell you. I barely even know who Balthier is.
My brother! A message come from Ravenaster. The Strahl she set sail. She makes straight for the sky city of Bejerba.
Barely know, was it? Yet a trace he goes bounding off for you. Tell me, how could that be?
That's what I'd like to know. I just met him that one time and that's
Does
it.
that tongue never stop? What if we plucked it from your head? As for you, we need Balthier alive. His corpse fetches but half the bounty.
A tender beaten, my specialty.
There's no fun for it if we can't tease out a scream or two.
Where are you?
Easy.
No good, he's not here. Keep searching. This way.
You're a dead man. Don't forget it. And no names.
Of course.
The Lusu mines are just up ahead. Though, I do hear there's not much left there these days.
You're on your way to the mines? Then please allow me to accompany you. I have an errand to attend to there.
What manner of errand?
What errand? I might ask the same of you.
Right. Come on then.
What? It's Kate Sith all over again.
Do me a favor and stay where I can keep my eye on you. Should be less trouble that way.
For us both.
So what's your name?
Oh, I'm Lamont.
Don't worry. I don't know what's in that mine, Lamont, but you're in good hands. Right, Bosch?
So that's definitely not that kid's name, right? The way it's like, oh, I'm Lamont. It's like, yeah, he made up that name right then and there. Any bets that his name actually does start with L, though, and you just like, Lamont. But he joins as a guest, so we've got a fourth party member. He's nowhere near as helpful as other guests that we've had at this point, but he's still... You're never going to turn down a fourth party member, really. Bejerba, the Sky City, as a whole, is more linear in structure, but it is still sizable. So all the shops as you go will kind of come to you one at a time as you go through, and the equipment they sell here is better than what you could find anywhere in the neighbouring zone of Ravenarste, which is why you're going to see me now get my shopping done. Essentially, you're going to see me start going through, seeing what equipment I can get everyone, and then buying accordingly. I do get a little cautious though with my spendings, just for the simple reason of I only have so much gil, and the only real way of earning it is selling the loot you get from enemies. And so you're going to see me kind of bankrupt myself a little bit, and then go and sell a bunch of stuff. And then after I've sold a bunch of stuff, I come back much more cautious of what I have. Like I finally sold the Firefly. I'm surprised I hadn't done it sooner, because I know I'm never going to use the thing. I sell the Knots of Rust as well because they're kind of useless. And then from here, I just clean out the loot that we've got, which isn't much, but every little bit helps in trying to get some extra gil. Which puts us up to a nice, like, 2,300 again. And it makes some new things pop up in the bazaar, but not enough to justify me buying any of them. So do the last bit of cleanup with what armory I want to get, which I think I'd just buy 2 helmets and call it a day. I don't think I'd bother with the... I don't know, maybe I'd bother with the scale armor, I can't remember. I don't think I do, I think it's just barely out of price range, and I know I'm going to want to buy other stuff. Yeah, I leave it for now. I sell some weapons that I know I'm not going to be using again. Well, I say that, the Oaken Pole, I'd recommend keeping if you plan on using Penelo, because that was her weapon. But because I know I'm not really going to be using her, it doesn't really bother me, so I just get rid of it. We also have way too many cotton caps, so I sell all but one of them, just because they're good magic equipment, but we just have too many for them, and we can't justify keeping them right now. If I have multiple or something, I'll usually only sell one of them, because I never know when another one of it will become helpful. And things like the Topkapi hat, we got as a rare drop, so I wouldn't want to sell it really anyway, unless we get something better. But after my selling spree, because I feel like I did sell more than buy, we do continue onwards. There are new spells to be brought from the magic shop as well, so you might be tempted to just wait to go over there, because magic spells are more universal in how helpful they are to you. So you might want to buy them anyway, whilst your arms are only going to be helpful for now. There's a new sword you can buy for Barsh. There's a new bow you can buy for Fran, looks pretty strong. And if you can, maybe buy the cherry staff if you plan on having a mage in your party later on. But because I'm like trying to play this a little bit more casually than that, I decided against it for now, and like I'll get it later if I want it. More so because I wanted to make sure I have enough for the magics. But one of the magic spells here, I think it's this one. Maybe it's a recording later on. I'm pretty sure it's this one. You're going to see me just... Oh no, it's not this one. Never mind. There's another shop coming up in this part. I'm sure there is. Where there's going to be a magic spell that I straight up just avoid buying. Because I can't see any use for it and it's way too expensive. No, it's a technique. It's not a spell. There's another technique shop coming up. So we can't go off to this left side because it's blocked off. The authority of the Marquise decided against it, which is just weird, but whatever. But here's the technique shop, and there's another gambit shop. But every single gambit that's important can be bought at Rubbernosh Day, so don't worry about it too much. It's going to be the same set or a reduced set. I don't think I check it. But yeah, one of the techniques in here, yeah, charge. Restore user's MP, but if it fails, reduces MP to 0. So I decide kind of against it for now. I'm like, that's just a waste of money. I'd rather use an ether and have a safe way of getting some magic back than a oops kind of thing. But that is something you could set as its own gambit. Like if MP hits 0 or hits super low, use charge. But the problem is that you could end up using it several times before you get a chance. But once you go through here, you're in front of the mines essentially. Down there is the mines. So next time on Final Fantasy XII, we'll be going into those mines to try and see if we can find Penelo. But until then, you guys take care now.